It didn't start on the doorstep. It started somewhere else, somewhere dim, quiet, and heavy with the smell of smoke. A pair of hands moved slowly over a table scratched with years of use. They worked with purpose, stitching together rough burlap, pulling the thread taut until the seams puckered like scars. A small bundle of herbs was tucked inside the hollow chest, followed by something else, something small and pale, that made the fabric bulge. The needle punched in and out faster now, until the shape resembled a crude little body. A black thread was wrapped thickly where the eyes should be, tied off in knots too tight to come undone. And then the final touch, something whispered, so faint it was swallowed by the sound of the candle burning low. The hand set it down gently, almost reverently. The next morning, it was on the front step. Its seams were uneven, the stitches impatient, almost angry. It leaned forward unnaturally, like its head was too heavy for its thin neck. The smell clung to it, a dry, metallic scent that lingered after touching it. No one in the building admitted to leaving it there. Most brushed it off. Some kid's prank, a joke, a dare. It was tossed into the trash without a second thought. A week later, another appeared. This one had a patch sewn into its chest, made from a piece of fabric that matched a shirt missing from the laundry. That's when the little things began. Keys vanished from their hook. A favorite mug shattered in the sink. The sound of footsteps past the door at night, too slow to be rushing, too heavy to be the building settling. Then came the third doll. It didn't arrive on the doorstep. It was waiting on the kitchen table. The lock on the door showed no signs of tampering. Its head was turned up toward the door, not toward the window, but toward the chair where someone had been sitting earlier that day. The room felt colder after that. More things disappeared. Not valuable, just personal. A hairbrush, a single shoe, the corner of a photograph, cut clean away. And then the fourth doll appeared. This one had hair, real hair, tangled and knotted into the stitches. That night, sleep was impossible. Every sound in the building felt deliberate. Shadows in the corners seemed to hold their shape too long. A draft brushed against the neck like breath. It stopped being about who was doing it. The realization was worse. They were close enough to know the little details. It stopped being about who was doing it. The realization was worse. They were close enough to know the little details. Close enough to take things without being seen. Close enough to sit in the same room without you noticing. And once you know that, you don't just lock your door. You start wondering if you locked it enough. It was the fifth doll that broke the last thread of calm. This one was different. It didn't show up on the doorstep. It wasn't left on the table or slipped under the door. It was sitting on the bed, perfectly still, perfectly upright when the room was empty. You could swear it hadn't been there a moment before. That night, the sounds weren't footsteps or whispers. They were soft thuds scraping against the floorboards. The faint creak of joints moving to settle to catch at first. The doll's head had turned again. Now it faced the door. In the mirror, you caught its reflection behind you just for a second. When you turned, it was gone. You stopped sleeping altogether, because some part of you knew. It wasn't just a doll. It was waiting, watching, and maybe, just maybe, it was moving on its own.